Welcome back to Copenhagen Blue. Today we're going to replace a wheel hub assembly on my 2015 Transit 350. It makes some bad noises. I'm going to show you what the noises are here in a second. Yeah, it sounds pretty, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a wheel bearing. That's what we're going to replace today. Hopefully it comes off nice and easy because it's cold outside, 21 degrees. So I'm not exactly excited about doing this job, but it has to be done because I need this van for Christmas Day. Got to take the family somewhere. Anyway, let's get started. Alright, so we have our wheel off the ground. I have a jack stand under there. We have the floor jack holding the car, so it's kind of a safety, but you hear that? That sounds beautiful, doesn't it? All right, let's tear into this. Get the wheel off. And get a wheel out of the way. So the Transit's a little unique. You have your brake caliper, you have your brake caliper bracket, which is pretty standard, but then you have your rotor, which is on the inside of your hub. So we have to actually take the hub off to get the rotor off. At some point, I did brakes. I must have taken the hub assembly off, and I just don't remember. But hopefully that means since it's been out and in, maybe it'll come off easier than I expect. To get our lower caliper bolt free, we're going to need a 15mm on a socket, and we need a 7/8 inch wrench to hold on to our pin, because it wants to spin with the tension, so we have to hold it, otherwise that just spins back and forth and you'll never get that out. Now we're going to do the same thing to the upper, but the problem I run into is I can't get my ratchet in there, so we're going to end up using this 15mm right here to break that free. Once in a while you need a little extra leverage to break a bolt free, so if you hook another wrench onto the top, it gives you what you need. So we're going to put a screwdriver in here, in between the vanes of the rotor. We're going to compress that caliper a little bit, so that way it gives us more clearance to get our caliper off. Because you never, ever let your caliper hang by its hose. Now while we're right here, you can see our pads, and we have quite a bit of life left on our front pads. Transits actually use a majority of their braking in the rear, so the front pads tend to last about twice as long. So we have our caliper out of the way. Now we need to get our caliper bracket out of the way. We need a 21mm socket, and you'll need something that has some pretty good leverage in order to get that free. In this case, I have an extension ratchet. Get this caliper out of the way. Get some leverage. Break that bolt free. Ooh, that's a doozy. There we go. There's one, and there's number two. Now we take our whole caliper bracket off with our pads and just set it to the side. All right, well, we've got our caliper and our bracket off. Now we have access to our bearing, which you can, I think, hear is shot. You might be able to if you listen carefully. Yeah. So let's say I want to do this by hand. Every time I go to do this, my hub's going to turn, right? So here we're going to put something to stop our hub from turning, like a pry bar or bar. When I put some tension on it, it doesn't move, but I can move the ratchet. So just one of those little things that makes life a little bit easier when you feel like you're fighting an uphill battle with your car. Now in this case, we're not worried about the threads. You might want to put one of your lugs back on to protect the threads if you were going to be reusing this part. But since this is the part we're actually replacing, I'm not worried about it. Now that we have the rotor itself unbolted from the hub, makes life a little bit easier when we have to go to take that off. But if you look in here, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but there's a Torx bolt down in there. So we actually have to use an extension with a Torx adapter, go in there and break the 5 bolts that hold the hub assembly to the knuckle. What we're working with is a T50 Torx bit. I'm going to go right through that hole on the outside there, and I can actually feel it lock into that Torx bolt right there. I'm going to actually stand up and use my weight to push down to unbolt that. So I'm going to put the camera down. So I'm going to push down with my weight and let my body do the work for me. So there's one free. There's the other one. Make sure it's fully seated before you put your weight on, otherwise it's going to really hurt. Okay. Alright, that one came free. Now if you keep it in the position, the star pattern is lined up with each bolt, so you don't have to search around for it very much. You can actually see how cold it is out here, that the water dripping off the car from me running the defrost to move it over is freezing on the rotor as it lands on it. That's cool. This will give us a little bit better angle to try and work with what we need to. Now, I don't want to hit the face of this rotor with something metal like this, because I run the risk of marring this surface. Even though the pad's not in great shape, it's still not going to work very well when it's all dented up. I'll feel that in the pedal more than likely. Pry bar on the edge there. I don't think that's going to help us. Okay, so that helped us. Well, that was interesting. Okay, cool. You can see we have the back of our hub assembly here that goes into the knuckle. We're going to clean out all this rust. I think the last time I was in here, I was probably semi-smart, put anti-seize in there so that way this would be easier in the event that I had to do it again. Go me. You can see that it goes in one way, and that's how we get our rotor onto our hub itself. Now we want to clean all this junk out, and we probably want to clean up our rotor too. If I could get these turned, I would, but I don't think you can get cross-drilled rotors turned. Plus, the amount of places that turn rotors anymore is pretty much non-existent. But let's get our new hub. So out with the old, and in with the new. Well, that sure looks a lot better, and it sure as heck sounds a lot better. Let's get this knuckle cleaned up so we can put in our fresh bearing here. This will go in nicely, and then we're going to start bolting everything back together. One thing you want to make sure of when you're cleaning this, if you look on the back side here, you can actually see your wheel speed sensor goes down into this knuckle itself, and here is your wheel speed sensor. It's just that little plastic piece. You don't want to damage that. If you damage that, you might as well just plan on replacing a wheel speed sensor. We're going to try and just clean off this edge. We might even just use a brush by hand. We just want to knock the rust off so that when we put our new part in there, it's not tighter than it needs to be, and it doesn't already have corrosion starting. Now that we have everything all cleaned up, we're going to put a little bit of aluminum anti-seize just all along this edge here where things could bind up. You can learn from my mistake that I just made. I put this down on a dirty surface. This is a magnet here, and this magnetic ring is what tells your wheel that it's moving. I laid it down in some rust and everything else, and all that ferrous material. Well, it's magnetic. Little Locktite's just what ensures that when I tighten these down, they don't back themselves out, right? So I'm going to put this down in the hole, and we'll start that. And we're going to do that all the way around, and then we'll tighten it all up. So to put it on, all we do is we line up the back pattern here with the pattern there. So we'll start out just by putting our Torx bit in here. Now we've got that seated. We're just going to start that by hand and run that in. We would go in our crisscross pattern just like anything else. Get it started by hand. Then we'll use our torque wrench here, or if you don't have a torque wrench, just a ratchet, and we're going to tighten them down to spec. You can see I still have a little bit of a gap here where the hub has not fully seated. When we draw these bolts down, it's going to close that gap up. So I'm going to go grab the torque specs, and then we're going to tighten this down. I'm going to tighten down all of these Torx bolts that came with the new hub bearing. Now, they're 46 foot-pounds, 22 foot-pounds for the ones that hold the bolt to the rotor, but they're supposed to be one-time use. You're supposed to tighten them down to 22 foot-pounds and then torque them 90 degrees, which means that they're a torque 2-year-old bolt. You should replace them. I'm not replacing them. I'm accepting the liability on my end. I don't accept the liability for you. So if you're doing this job, grab new bolts and tighten them down properly. You can see it tightened up that gap, and we're going to snug everything down to 46 foot-pounds of torque. We're going to go in a crisscross pattern so that everything seats evenly. We're going to go in a circular pattern. So everything is now tightened all the way down. We're going to tighten these to 22 foot-pounds, and like I said, they're supposed to be replaced. I'm not replacing them. That's my choice. And then I'm going to do a 90-degree turn as well on these after they're tightened out to 22 foot-pounds. Now remember what I told you about earlier, when we want to torque something down that's on the wheel, as I push, it's going to turn my wheel. Now in this case, I don't want to ruin my threads. So I'm going to put on 2 of my lug nuts. And then that way, when we put our pry bar in there, we'll protect our threads and not mar them up. There we go. So you can see we have our torque wrench in there. It's on our lug nuts. We're not in danger of hurting any threads. I'm going to torque these down to 22 foot-pounds. Now we're going to put our caliper bracket back on, and then our caliper, and we're going to be good to go. But listen to the difference. Woo-wee! No sound. And we've got our caliper bracket back on. We want to make sure that our pins move. Notice this guy right here, it's not moving. And that one's moving a lot better than that guy is. So we're going to get that out of there. We're going to lube it up. But we have our bolts that we have to put on for our caliper bracket, and those get torqued down to 203 foot-pounds. So make sure you have a torque wrench that can do that. Caliper bolts that are for 44 foot-pounds of torque. It works back and forth, but it really should work a lot better. So we're going to try and just kind of tap it. Just give it a tap, tap, tappy. It's coming. That guy, that's dry. That's way too dry. So I'm gonna clean it off. We're gonna get some caliper pin lube and put it in there, and see if we can't make that a little happier. See, look at that. It's all shiny now. Such a happy caliper pin. And even though this bottom one is still working okay, we're gonna pull that pin out and just clean it off anyway. Can't glob it up too much because then it won't go back in the hole. And we'll just put that back in and let it sit. Let's see how nice and easy that moves. And then we'll do the same thing for this guy here. Just lube it up a little bit all the way around. Alright, so we've got our caliper pins greased, and now we can take our caliper that we've had hanging around, and we can put that right back on. We go ahead and put our bolts back on. So we're going to do 44 foot-pounds. Here we go. And Make sure when you get back in, you press the brake a couple times to put that caliper piston back where it needs to go, which is against the pad, before you go backing out of the driveway. Well, that's going to take care of it. Betty's nice and quiet, as you can hear. No more grumbling sound, so it looks like we're good for Christmas morning. Appreciate you taking the time to watch. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.